Welcome to Japanese Classroom. This lesson is about Keigo, respectful language. Many people, including native speakers, find Keigo somewhat difficult, but it is an indispensable part of the Japanese language, and it is good to know how it works. So this lesson is aimed to give you a general idea what Keigo is, and introduce very basic words you may encounter as a visitor to Japan. There are three kinds of Keigo. The first one is teineigo, which is the easiest form of Keigo. Teine means polite or courteous. So, like verbs in the mass form, any word which is politer than those listed in the dictionary belongs to this category. For instance, the name of this dish is sushi, but lots of people call it osushi. The word tea in Japanese is cha, but most of the time it's called ocha. So by adding o in front of it, many nouns are made into a teineigo, a politer word. More examples of polite o is shown here. Money is kane, but we usually call it okane. Meal is shokuji, but often oshokuji. Telephone is denwa, but it's often called odenwa. There are many other words which are used with o to make it sound politer. Having said that, we never use o with a katakana word. And there are occasions when we use go instead of o. Example of this is goryoko for traveling and goyoyaku for reservations. There is no concise rule for when to use go instead of o, although in general, go is used with rather difficult words made of a combination of two or more kanji characters. Another one you might already be familiar with is ohayou gozaimasu or arigatou gozaimasu. Gozaimasu is a more polite way of saying desu. Many people answer the phone by using gozaimasu like moshi moshi, easy Japanese de gozaimasu. In the customer service sector, usually desu is replaced by de gozaimasu, but de gozaimasu cannot be used with an I adjective. Up until now, I talked about teineigo, and upper primary aged children in Japan can handle these reasonably well. But Keigo is not something we expect children to be able to use very well. Or more like, most children in Japan are expected to start making conscious effort to use Keigo when they start junior high school, which is around the age of 12. And almost every adult worker would have had an occasion or two when their usage of Keigo was corrected by a senior worker. So it is natural for non-native speakers to find Keigo difficult. Then, what are the other two kinds of Keigo? They are Sonkeigo and kenjogo. Sonkei means respect, and kenjo means modesty. The aim of Keigo is to show respect to the person you are talking to or talking about. So, Sonkeigo and kenjogo work like elevators. That is, you use Sonkeigo, honorific word, to describe the other person's action to put them higher than you. And you use kenjogo, humble words, to describe your own action to put yourself lower than the other person. Probably it's easier to show an example. If you want to ask, do you eat sushi? The neutral expression is, お寿司を食べますか? But a shop assistant in a sushi shop in Japan will not say that to you. Instead, they will ask you, お寿司を召し上がりますか? 召し上がります is the honorific form of 食べます. By using the honorific verb, the shop assistant is showing respect to you as a customer. To answer that question, はい食べます is the good neutral way. But if it was your boss who asked the question, you should say はいいただきます as いただきます is the humble version of 食べます. By using a humble verb, you are showing respect to your boss. So, we use honorific verbs for the actions of the person we want to show respect to. And we use humble verbs for our own actions. And in case of eating and drinking, the neutral form is 食べます and 飲みます. But the honorific version for both verbs is 召し上がります and the humble version is いただきます. For verbs, 行きます to go, 来ます to come, and います to be, their honorific counterpart is いらっしゃいます. And you use it for the action of the person you are showing respect to. And for your own action, you should use 参ります or おります. And they are humble verbs. For the verb 言います to say, its honorific counterpart is おっしゃいます and its humble version is 申します. For the verb します to do or to play, its honorific counterpart is なさいます and its humble version is いたします. For the verb 知っています to know, its honorific counterpart is ご存知です and its humble version is 存じています or 存じております. For the verb 見ます to watch, to see, or to look at, its honorific counterpart is ご覧になります and its humble version is 拝見します or 拝見いたします. I have compiled these sets of verbs in a table. So if you'd like, you can download a copy from my website, easyjapanese.com. Please click the link shown at the top right corner now. And if the verb you want to use is not included in the list, you can change it to both using its stem. For the honorific version, add お before the stem and になります after. For the humble version, use お before the stem and します or いたします after. If the verb is 聞きます to listen to, お聞きになります and お聞きします or お聞きいたします respectively. This generic pattern can also be used with 召し上がります the honorific form of 食べます and with お召し上がりになります you can show a deeper respect to the person. Having said that, it is very important to remember that you cannot say the politer, the better. Because the politer you talk, the more distant you sound. So you need to judge how much respect you'd like to show and how friendly you want to sound. This makes the use of Keigo difficult for even native speakers. If you are going to use Japanese as a visitor only, and if you find Keigo too hard to handle, you can always say, 敬語は難しいです 敬語を使わないで話してください。Most people will try to adjust their language. However, for most adults in Japan, using Keigo is part of their everyday speech, so it is not that easy not to use it at all. Also, if a shop owner hears their shop assistant talking to a customer without Keigo, the shop assistant will get into trouble. So don't get angry even if they don't stop using Keigo to you. And if you want to be fluent in Japanese, Keigo is something you can't avoid. I am intending to make some exercise material for you to practice on, and once it is ready, it will be available through my website, easyjapanese.com. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you like this lesson, please subscribe to my channel and give a thumb up. For more study resources, please visit easyjapanese.com. また今度. See you next time.